not from Haiti. I don't know if they ate dogs, but I do know what I saw. And I'm saying what I saw could and is consistent with somebody having eaten dogs or cats. Truth belongs to God, not the Republican Party.
Yes.
Truth belongs to God, not the Democratic Party. A police officer that wants truth should say, no, there are some racist police officers for sure, but I can't put that on the whole police force.
Right.
Neither can I be a police officer and pretend like that doesn't take place. I'm so proud to be black that if I started talking about how proud I am to be black, you would become proud.
Like, has there ever been a president that's like, I'm getting in here, I'm gonna help people, I'm gonna help black people specifically?
Mr. Trump did. So I'm not a Trump supporter. You are, you sound like one to me. That's only because you ain't hearing right.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back to Gotta Be Me podcast. We are so happy to be here again with you today. We're your hosts. My name is Sophia Benyon, and this is my cousin, Peyton Benyon.
Welcome back to our channel, everybody. If you're new here, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll appreciate it so much.
We are so excited to have Brother Steph back on the podcast, and even better, with us we have Brother Steph's brother, Brother Randall. We're so happy and excited to have him. We are still so intrigued by the goings on in the political world, and we want to keep talking about them. We want to discuss some of the sentiments that people have gotten from our previous video. We want to go back and talk about that, and we actually just kind of want to talk about wherever the conversation goes, and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, we're excited. Brother Randy said he's super informal, so we're really excited about that. We hope he just breaks out and says something.
Oh,
no.
Does this get to, do you edit this?
Yes, it gets edited.
That's good. I like that. Edit this
I don't
thing.
know, brother. We just sometimes be letting it ride.
We need to edit this thing, brother, because
You just need to leave it real, though.
I feel some kind of way right now. I'm gonna take a drink.
Just ignore the lights, ignore the cameras,
I'll
and we'll
try.
just let it go. So, but Steph, a lot of people in our comments were very stressed by the fact that you said that you personally felt that Trump was not a racist. And we were thinking later on, like, oh, maybe we should have asked Brother Steph to define what is a racist or what makes someone a racist. And by that, we can kind of understand why Trump wouldn't be.
Sure. Or why I would feel like you would.
Or why you would feel like that.
Obviously, that's my opinion, but I think it's based in something.
Okay.
So just in brief, somebody could define racism in all kinds of ways and even be triggered by my definition of racism. There's 1,000 triggers. I told you last time that we just had drive-bys in here. So I would understand racism and racist actions and being a racist as distinct things. So in my mind, how I process it and what would make me say, okay, I don't think he's a racist. I would think a racist wants no part of black people in their country and even systematically works to remove us out of the country.
Okay.
So there are organizations like that, even in the past, like KKK, for example, is still here today.
Right.
But my simplistic thought, just right now, because you can get into it, but I don't want to just take a long, long time. It's somebody, in my mind, that will systematically work to destroy my people, to destroy black people. Someone that does not want us in the country, someone that hates us from the root or center of their being. And I still say, I don't think Mr. Trump is that. Now, someone might say, I agree. Oh, I agree, and he is that. I think there's a good reason to believe that, but I would say that I think how I would process it is they would be thinking he's a racist based on racist actions or influences that he's been a part of in the past. And I wouldn't think, I wouldn't tend to think that makes someone a racist.
Because I know you've said before that you believe everyone is affected by white supremacy.
Yes.
And a racist system that we've lived in and moved in.
Yes. So I would say Mr. Trump is definitely affected by that system. I would even go so far as to say, as a nearly 80-year-old white American rich man, the likelihood of him not doing something racist or calling someone a racist name, the likelihood of him not being involved in that at all is zero. And that may or may not comfort somebody that was wondering what I meant.
What are you talking-
So there's no doubt that he's been involved in racism. There's no doubt that he's been influenced by racism. There's no doubt that he's done racist acts. And I say that respectfully, not even knowing all the acts. I just say that, look, we're in America. That to me is quite distinct than me saying this man is a racist, because I would think that is someone like the Grand Wizard, the Grand Dragon, you know, somebody that wants to terminate black people and wants to have America for their own white selves. Now, having said that, I do think that some of the positions that he takes make it easy for racists to latch a hold of that and claim him.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And because of that, if I say he's not racist, they're like, hold on. Like, there are people attaching to that message. For example, make America great again. Simple. Well, when was it great? When was it great for us?
Right.
Hey, I understand. I'm us. I understand. I really believe that Mr. Trump just loves America. And I don't think if he wanted to help someone from America, I don't think his native question would be, are they black? Are they white? Are they Latino American? Are they Chinese American? I don't believe that would be what poured from his heart. I think what would come from his heart would be, is that American? America first. I think that's what will come from his heart. And he's brash, and he does things that we wouldn't do. And I didn't say that he was the preacher of the world. And I didn't say that he was a Christian. And I didn't say I like everything that he does. I simply said, I do not believe, in my definition, that he has an agenda to destroy black people, and he even desires that. I don't think he desires it at all. And from that definition, I would think more people would agree with me.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would think more people would agree with that. Not
For sure.
everybody.
No,
Yeah.
Not
people are
everybody,
still
but I
gonna
think
be-
more people say, hey, I think racism's deeper than that, but based on what you're saying, and that is a simple definition, but still, the extermination of black people. I don't like black people. I will systematically move to destroy them. I want this nation for white people only. I would like to keep them in subjugation. I would like to keep black people marginalized. Let's bring back slavery. Some think Mr. Trump would say that. I wouldn't be so, in my thoughts, in the way I think, I would not think that that would be his desire.
So would you say then that people can commit racist acts without actually being racists themselves?
It's a good question. And the question is, you're asking, do I think people can commit a racist act without being racist themselves? I would say, in my understanding, yes. People can do things that would be considered racist or prejudice, and not necessarily have the hatred that accompanies being labeled a racist. Because in my mind, to label somebody a racist, and there are racists in the world, and there is a system, of course, in place that is based in racism. Now, Mr. Trump and the Republicans wouldn't agree with that, generally speaking. But to label someone as a racist, I would more carefully do that and more thoughtfully do that. They do exist, but I would want to hear what somebody's saying. I would try to sense their heart, and I would say Mr. Trump just loves America, and he's brash, and he says things he shouldn't say, and there's no doubt he's done racist things, but I do not believe he is for the extermination of black people. I don't believe that.
Makes sense.
So.
Some people were saying in the short that was made about President Obama and
Yes.
whether or not he was, a black president, we addressed that, and some people were saying, well, how would you, as a president, you have to have the best interests of all of the United States, all of Americans
certainly.
in mind. So people were saying, well, I thought it was a good question. They were like, how would you be such a powerful activist for black people and keep all Americans, I'm not sure the exact wording they used.
Not marginalized white people.
Right. They were saying,
saying,
how would you do that efficiently?
Well,
and I thought it was a good question.
It is a good question. I would think in the short that I said you wouldn't marginalize people. And I would appreciate anybody that asks a question. It's an excellently well thought of question. I would say the answer to that question is black people. And allow me to explain. Our history is such of forgiveness, kindness, unity, holiness, family, togetherness. Our history will bring this about. That's what I mean by having a black president. So having a people say black president or just black people, and all of a sudden they, I don't know who they think we are. The reverse racist blackness. I don't know what people are thinking. Like you somehow cannot be African American. You can't be black and be for black people unapologetically. You can't do that and at the same time bring everybody together. African Americans are from every shade, to blue, black, to whatever, okay? And within those shades, I think it's kind of like an allegory, or you can have an analogy. Within those various shades, that's how much we can take in. That's how much love and people and diversity we can take in.
That's beautiful.
And so it's not even a problem if you're actually coming from being black. If you are black, our history is to gather people together. Right now, we're not uprising and killing. Hey, let's kill all the white folks. Okay?
Right.
For sure.
And some people say, hey, we have a reason to. I'm not saying that. Don't anybody take this clip
Right.
and say. But some people say, yeah, we've been brutalized. And so we're not going around trying to hurt people. The nature and history of our people is such that when I look out for black people, it is not contrary or contradictory to the interests of everyone else. And I'll say one more thing about that, if I may.
Yes, absolutely.
So someone has a family, and if they look out for the best interests of their family first, it doesn't mean that they're not for the community.
Right.
It doesn't mean that the other community is not marginalized. There's not one household today that has children in this whole community that I was concerned about that has a parent, father, mother, that I was concerned, I wonder what those children are eating for dinner. It's not my concern. Their care for their family and their household does not marginalize me.
Right.
It does not isolate me. It's exactly what they should be doing. And I think in the same way, the African Americans, our care for our people has no ability or effect or impact of marginalizing anyone else. And we'll know that when we know our history. I've gone in, I've talked to the mayor here in Muncie. The mayor's been good. He's been kind enough to talk to us on several occasions, and other officials, and they're in there, and everybody's white, and here I am. I'm in there, Brother Steph. Everybody. There have been times when there have been other black people in there, but they're talking to me and they're engaging me, and I have said to them often, you can just go ask them. I said, you know what? Yeah, we're real black excellence. I'm so proud to be black that if I started talking about how proud I am to be black, you would become proud. As a white person, you would be proud
of how black I am.
Yes, you'd be like, yeah. I mean, it actually would do exactly the opposite of marginalization. It would make you say, yes, I want that. Like, I want that for my people and my family. And you can exist. Both are simultaneous. And I think it's not a matter of being just a president for. We have to be president for everybody. Yeah, that's right. But first, black people. First black people, we have to address the issue that's not been addressed, which again is why I wrote.
Which kind of makes it odd. Like I was thinking about, when Kamala Harris, and believe it or not, I'm not political, but it may sound like it. Like when Kamala Harris says that she, I forget the gentleman asked her the question about whether she was going to, well, would you do when you get in office? Will you do this for black people? I said, well, I'm not going to do anything just for black people. I'm there's all kind of, that statement makes me suspicious of her. You know what I'm saying?
I do know.
Like that naturally raises suspicion.
Suspicion as a black man or just as a person?
Well, as a black man. Like, why?
That's a good
You
question.
understand the question?
Yeah.
Like just as a human, or are you saying no? As being black, now you got my eyes raised because you ain't gonna do nothing.
Why would you not do something just for blacks? You're black, aren't you?
And why is that contradictory?
Yeah.
Why is that contradictory to humanity? As though I couldn't do something for black people without brutalizing people.
Has there ever been anything done just for black people? Like in the history of America?
Yes, there has been from a, you talking about from a political perspective?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, have there been presidents with that burden to do something just for black
Like, has
people?
there ever been a president that's like, I'm getting in here, I'm gonna help people, I'm gonna help black people specifically?
Mr. Trump did.
See, people aren't gonna like that. They're not gonna like that.
I mean, all they have to do is look it up. Now, somebody's gonna say I'm a Trump supporter. We're gonna talk about church, but to get there, we have to.
Go ahead.
I'm saying church business is totally related and relevant to everyday circumstances that's happening today.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're
I
gonna
believe
get
it.
it. So when I say Mr. Trump did. I'm just thinking of one particular video. Someone's gonna say he's a Trumpite, he's a Trump supporter,
Trumpite.
you know, or whatever. People have to label somebody. I'm just saying. I'm saying, Mr. Trump. There's a video you can look up, and he wouldn't have been the only one that would have done things like this. But as a white man, that's pretty good. He called all the HBCU leaders in and said, "Hey, look, let's get some money." So you say, "You've been wronged. A lot of you have been. You people have been wronged." Now somebody says, "Who are you people?" Hey, have mercy on us. He's trying to help. You people have been wronged. He said, and actually, you built the country. Google it. Did Mr.
Trump said that?
Yes.
Mr. Trump? Sorry.
Just Google it. You know how people Google stuff. They fact checking me right now. He said, actually, you people built the country. And then he said, well, you're not the only ones that built it, but you largely built it, and you're just now starting to get some credit. And so there's that kind of acknowledgement coming from him that is not so much coming from black people, and certainly not Miss Harris. Miss Harris said, I absolutely will not do anything for just black people.
Yeah, that's
now, she may
strange.
have changed her position, which would be convenient.
Yes.
I mean, or when I say change the position, change her wording.
Like, I don't know how, like, what I don't know how, I don't know how I don't know how you could be black and say that.
Say you're not going to do anything
I'm
for
not
black people?
just going to do something just for blacks. Like,
Okay, so we're going to need to define. Keep going. I see your wheels turning.
Like your feelings and your burdens, your
How were you?
care and your concerns.
You were talking to me earlier.
Should go.
Talk about them sports analogies you're
No,
doing.
I forget them.
No, brother.
I'll try to remember.
No, brother, because we were talking earlier. We were talking earlier, and see, we didn't record any of the calls. We just talking brother to brother.
See, y'all's phone calls should be recorded.
We can get the phone calls from the FBI.
So what? Well, yeah, that's
Probably
true.
'cause I'm sure
That's
they
true.
have
We- yeah, they got it. Okay, so you were saying, how do you feel about Lamar Jackson? You want him to do good?
Oh yeah. So I'm just saying
is there an attachment? I'm not talking about I just love the Ravens. Is there something in you like, but that's come on, Mar.
Like when we were whether we were in school or wherever we were, at least it was something that was attached to me. If somebody black was doing well, I felt like I was doing well.
Right.
Yes.
Like I felt like there was a specific connection to me. So when I played football, I played quarterback. There were quarterbacks I had loved. You know what I mean? Like Dan Marino. You know, to me, if somebody asks who's the best quarterback, I'm like, this Dan Marino. There's no doubt. It's Dan Marino. Okay. But
now you just started some trouble right there.
Yeah,
We're gonna be in the
did.
comments. Be like,
Now we're talking. What about Peyton Manning? What about Tom Brady? They're great. Okay, but inside of all of that, I was like Warren Moon,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Randall Cunningham.
about. Yeah, because they're black.
Doug Williams. There was something. I wanted them. Yeah.
Didn't we?
I wanted them to win.
Now,
listen, just because they were black.
Yes.
Like,
But there's nothing wrong with that. This is what we were talking about last time. This is the capital, I feel, that Miss Harris wants to capitalize on.
Right, so-
there's actually nothing wrong with wanting a black woman to be, or the first black woman.
Not
There's
at
nothing
all.
wrong with
Right,
that.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's actually good. It's not
Absolutely.
bad. And I would say there would be nothing wrong with somebody saying, I'm going to vote for Mr. Trump because I want the white people to win. If they're white. Yeah, I think you could do that without being a racist.
yeah.
Now I just started some trouble.
Yeah,
The
you
girls
did.
got quiet.
Trouble.
Can't we?
I can't about it.
I had to think about it.
I'm being honest. I don't think there's anything wrong to say I'm voting for him because he's white.
I think this man.
I identify with him more. I think he would be able to look at
For
my
sure.
interests
Yeah,
and handle
that
my
makes sense.
interests better. I'm not saying the people are racist. Well, there's something in us, and all the more. I cut you off, didn't I?
No, you didn't.
No, go ahead and handle it.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I remember. I remember keenly. I remember when. They used to have the American Music Awards used to come on. It wasn't nothing like it is now. Like it used to come on, brother, and you was like, I was waiting. You know, I was waiting for the black performers to perform. I wanted to. It didn't mean that I didn't want everybody else to do well. It didn't mean I didn't even acknowledge everybody else.
Right.
Different genres and all that. I was, oh yeah, that's good. Them people are good. You know, where's Take Six? You know what I mean? Where is and even sometimes, you know, to my own detriment, I'd be acknowledging people maybe I shouldn't have acknowledged just because they was black. But there was, all I'm saying is there was a sentiment that you wanted someone that was like you to be a success, because then if that image is out there, then I can do it too. You know what I'm saying? There's been a foundation laid for that, and I'm saying, maybe this is the wrong terminology, but that Miss Harris's her comments were a bit off-putting, because I think, how could you have how could you have that urge in you
Right.
to see success in these people and say that?
Right.
It seems like you jump on it. Would you write something just for black people? Yeah, well, yeah.
It would seem like,
Right.
right?
We need
Especially, especially with her saying she is black and wanting to identify as a black woman
Yeah.
and with the black community. It seems that would be, you know, a primary burden of her,
Yeah.
Would you think that the black community would maybe be willing to overlook those sorts of red flags in such a desire to see themselves win, in such a, like they would just be willing to put that out of their mind just to have a black woman president?
but it's like the black community is supporting her more than she's supporting them.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. Actually, that's that's actually a good question. So I think this is my opinion. I think African Americans have, I think blacks' views of each other, and even understanding our own culture and understanding what's been from the time of slavery till now, I think that's become very, to me, it seems like that's in the hands of a foreign entity. Like, actually, our identity seems to be in the hand of something foreign.
Not in the black community.
Not in the black community. Like, it ain't centered where it should be. Okay. So it be like, to me, so for example, to look at, you know, Miss Harris and see her, for me to vote, to me, a lot of people are voting her skin color.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's brown. Well, okay. What's that mean? Like, you know what I mean? She's brown. Sometimes the brown ones are the worst ones.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think, and you know, Miss Harris too, I think she, listen at me, struggling speaking. I think she struggles speaking. To me, she doesn't appear like she even understands, she doesn't even understand what she's saying. Like, or she's saying things, okay, let me say this. To me, she's not a representation of black intelligence. Okay? Like, when I think of intelligent, black, successful women, I'm not talking about women, I'm not talking about that, okay? I don't even think that's an image of us, personally. I think that's something foisted
That's
upon
right.
us.
Yeah,
put on.
absolutely. That's social media.
I think that's something that deserves to be resisted. To be resisted systematically by blacks. No, that's not us.
Right.
We're not head wagging and that is not us. That's what people are putting. That's what people are dumping over on us and expect us to walk in that.
Right.
But I think that Ms. Harris hasn't. I don't know. She doesn't display. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. Display the intelligence that the black community has had, or the consciousness, the awareness.
Yeah, the
You know what I'm saying? If I'm resorting to, I can make a mean batch of greens. I know white people make good greens. Some of the best greens I ever had did not come from black hands. Okay, they came from I can make them. They'd be in the tub. I don't. She made something about the tub full or whatever. You got to do more than make greens
For sure.
to make me think that you know us. Or that you feel us. And I think that blacks in general are reduced to really, it's really sad to me, right? Because all I'm looking at, she's the first woman and the first, what does that matter? What does it matter if it's the first woman if she doesn't know what she's doing? That's actually a mark against us. That's not, can I say something?
Yeah,
so that's not like Doug Williams winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
I remember watching that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I remember watching that, and I grew taller and taller and taller as he went. And it wasn't because, and another thing too, it wasn't because that Doug was floating and flashing. He wasn't flashing jewelry, or he wasn't doing. Doug was humble and even and good. And when I think he got hurt in the game, and then he came back in. And he was bombing them, and I was like, yes, yes. You know
It's
what I'm saying?
a win for us.
It was a win for us. Yeah, I felt proud. Now I liked John Elway too.
Right.
Okay, I liked them both, but I sure did feel good that he beat him. You know what I'm saying? And so it would be like this to me. It would be similar to like if for example. I'm from the USA. I'm in a different country. And then, who's the good swimmer? Phelps. Michael Phelps. It would be strange for me if I was over in Germany and Michael Phelps was winning and I wasn't having some kind of feeling like,
Right.
oh yeah, that's us. Michael's with us. He's with us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I feel because we're on the same soil. When you ever been in another country? You ever been in another country and everybody's speaking a different language?
And then all of a sudden you run into an American.
And all of a sudden you hear, I don't want that. You're like, I know that. Now wait, I know. Excuse me.
You would have never spoken to them at home, but all of a sudden in that foreign language, you're talking to them.
we're together, like it's deep. So and then you get in contact with them, and it's like, and you say, where are you from? I'm from such and such. I'm from so and so. Hey, we gonna talk. How long you been over here? I've been over, and you're good friends, right? Okay, because they're your countrymen. And then, but that also works whether that's somebody in your family or whether that's somebody from your nation, from your tribe.
Right.
It's the same way. You're like, oh, that's us. That makes it. That's thank you. Thank you, Lord. I don't know. Maybe you can say thank you. I don't know. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Lord, because we got all these images of us out here.
Yeah.
Okay, and all these bad images. It's actually an attack on us. It's actually, excuse me.
It is.
It's actually an attack on the men. When you put all these images and flash these things out here, and everybody. And I'm not trying to attack anybody that's doing what they're doing, and I'm not attacking people's music and all that, but some of it, brother, some of the stuff they be saying, I'm like, come on, y'all. Come on. You telling me that's okay? That's okay. And then, now I know this is long ago, and then you have a Doug Williams who's touchdown. At the end of the game, he's, well, I'm just thankful for the opportunity that I had to represent. So, you know what I mean? I'm like, yes, Doug Williams for president. You know what I'm saying? He ain't out there dancing and doing and all that. He's just, this brother has accomplished something, and he's accomplished something for us. That he made life easier for me on the street.
Right.
When he did what he did.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
People are forced to look at me different because of what he did. And there are other women. I think of even whether in politics, I'm gonna talk too much.
No, sir.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'm saying it's different people. Colin Powell. Colin Powell, to me, for him to get where he was the general. He was under George W. Bush. That made me proud. You know what I'm saying? He was in charge of everything, and really in charge. Where he went, what he said was law. Okay, so
My dad got to see him speak one time. I'm very proud of that.
oh, he did. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So what I'm saying, I'm saying we don't always get those opportunities, and I'm going back to, let me think. Going back to Ms. Harris, again the comment, and I don't want to grind it in the ground. I'm not trying to grind her. Okay, anyway, I'm just saying. Oh, you ain't gonna do nothing for us. And like we're like right now, we're kind of down.
Right.
We're down. Our young men are killing each other. We ain't doing nothing for us. These young men out on the street, we got more men in prison than on the street. Now, I don't know if that, you fact check that, that might not be, but I'm saying there's a disproportionate amount of black men that are incarcerated as opposed to those that are not. Okay, well, they need to pull their pants up and be good. Well, what's making them pull their pants down and be
in
bad?
the first place.
Like,
Can we talk about that?
Is anybody asking
Is there
that?
a plan for that?
Is there a plan? Right,
and,
right,
and you don't have one.
right.
In a leadership position of a country where these conditions
Like
exist.
to me, I don't need no counsel to give me no plan for that. Put me there. Bring them boys over here. I'm gonna holler at them. You know, I know what to say. We're gonna take this much money. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get all these people together. We're gonna vet what we need to, and everybody got their own ideas. We can fix this. We can fit this. I get it, but I'm saying, if you're burdened about something, then you know how to at least grab it.
Right.
You say, "No, this is what's happening to us."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You grab it and put it into you can put it, at least have a concept of it.
Right.
And then you wait for those others to come and join you. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, bro, I got you.
Right, right.
Yeah, we're doing. And then as we work together, then we can do something for our people. I don't understand if, we're not just going to do something for blacks. Oh, brother, that echoes in my mind like hurt.
Right.
Like I'm hurt. These boys out here for, in order to get status, they're killing each other. You know what I'm saying? They would rather die and have a reputation that they die being real than to live. You know what I'm saying?
And it seems like when you would help the black people, everyone else would be helped. Like the song, when we move, the whole world follows in our path. They're going to follow after. If you help the black people, everyone's going to be helped. And what did Dr. King say? All tied in an inescapable network to mutuality.
Yes.
What affects one directly affects all indirectly.
For sure. And then, there's another song too, Stevie Wonder. It's Misrepresented People. It's such a good song. And he goes through the history actually of African Americans, and at the end it is so good. He said, though we march across time and see many victories, we have been a misrepresented people. And it keeps saying that, and then he goes on, and at the end said, yes, we march across time and free every single one of God's humanity.
That's beautiful.
To never be a misrepresented people. And that, I don't know how many people know that song, but that song, that's an important song.
It's a good song.
It actually goes through and kind of gives a history of blacks, just in song. You know what I mean? And at that end is so important. I just in another, something else, I don't know, maybe anyway, to be able to do, you got to be able to you got to be able to talk through these things. And a lot of what's alarming to me is that really there's no way to talk. Like everybody's so triggered, and they really you never really. As soon as you hit the trigger, boom, people are they're going every direction, and we almost. I appreciate so much what you all are doing, and we almost have to retrain people even how to think about talking.
How to think about talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's correct. Not even to deal with the subject.
Not even to deal with the subject.
But think about it like this, and from there we can deal with it.
And if you think like this, and if we all think like this,
Right.
then we can actually find ourselves in this. But I think it comes,
We need someone to mediate in language.
Yeah. But I think it's important to know we don't have language for this. And that if there could be if there could be a desperate cry out of all, not just blacks, but whites, but I'm saying for blacks, okay? If there could be a desperate cry for language, don't cut me off. We got freedom of speech, but speech ain't free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I realize it's not free, and I think that's taken wrong. Like, people use that wrong. They use they take freedom of speech as, I'm just gonna say something ratchet, or I'm gonna say something. Yeah, I spoke my truth, but it didn't move us.
Right.
We didn't move. It didn't elevate us. It didn't do a Doug Williams. It didn't do. And I mentioned some of these. I remember they used to have the day when they would have, like, the football players would run and do different activities, and they'd always have people racing. I remember, like, Darryl Green, Herschel Walker, some of these other people. When they got done running, when they got done doing their thing, they interview them. Brother, Darryl Green had his hands behind his back. Darryl, how do you feel? Well, I just feel like it's just a privilege to run against someone as great as. And Darryl was smoking everybody. I think he could win the fastest man today. How old is he? 63?
I don't know, but
he's 63. Could come out
he's
of
fast.
and he would find it up in himself to beat
fast.
everybody.
That's funny.
Darryl Green, brother.
He was fast.
But I'm saying, all
fast.
I'm saying is that there was. It seemed like they knew there was some kind of direction. Maybe it was a spinoff or from Dr. King or from Malcolm X or from when we had leaders that were more out there. It was from there they felt like, I'm responsible. I'm Darryl Green. I'm the fastest man on the planet in this. Now, when I talk, I'm going to talk something good into children, all children, first off. To all children, but especially in the children that look like me.
Yes.
Okay, so when James Brown, these different, they had that in their mentality. I love everybody, but I'm telling you, it's my folks that's
saying
out there
loud.
in trouble.
That is the
proud,
nature
right?
of us.
Yes.
Like, that's the nature of us. And I would think in some measure that has to be the nature of any people of whatever ethnicity.
Yeah.
There has to be something inside of you that is attaching itself to your people and the cause of your people and the history of your people. And I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
It seems like when we lost our big leaders like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, we lost the ability to use language and communicate in that fashion and just in that gap of space.
Yeah, I think so.
That we lost a lot of that.
Because it's like, isn't mankind? It's like men are holding one big conversation together. Like, everybody's holding a big conversation, and we need people in place that can facilitate the conversation.
Yes.
Not you see what I'm saying? We get people who shut it. Like, we get people who can do something, but then we can't keep talking
Because they can't hold
Yes,
it. They can't hold the conversation.
It's necessary to continue to talk, because at the continuance of the conversation, I will find humanity.
Yes.
I will
Eventually.
I'll meet you at the place of humanity.
good.
I
Yes.
will, but only if I can't talk, I won't.
That's
Like,
right.
So you're talking about how to think. So let's bring up some triggering things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so for example, there's back to Mr. Trump. So Mr. Trump said in Springfield they're eating dogs and they're eating the cats. They made these little. I saw a video, brother. They got little.
stuff.
It was a whole song. I mean,
A
maybe it's
song?
a whole song. Got a beat. Somebody got on a
Lord.
drum
Oh,
machine.
brother.
Had a beat. Okay.
Did you see the little flag they made with the cat? Don't snack on me. They did all kind of stuff.
So I mean,
Bad
people,
news.
people are artistic, funny, like everybody.
Every time.
But do you know what happens? Because we're talking about communication and the inability to do so. Okay, I'm not suggesting what Mr. Trump said is true. I am saying there are people that say it's true.
Right.
I'm not there. But because he said that, now you talk about being triggered. Now there's a move. I heard, you hear things. Everybody's going to fill up the restaurants and the Haitian restaurants, which I think is beautiful.
Which is great, right?
And,
That's good.
and a protest, hold on, the Haitians are the best working. Okay, I believe them. Like, I believe that. I don't have no problem. But here's where our lack of communication comes in. I have no problem. Our lack of communication comes in right here. Nobody Nobody's saying that all Haitians eat dogs. I don't think, right?
Right.
Did Mr. Trump say all Haitians eat dogs?
No.
I think he was making a reference to something that some of their constituents said. Now, right here, you're losing people, but don't let me lose you. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right now, because we're gonna get to church. What I'm talking about right now is the essence of false religion.
Yes.
I'm not saying that what I'm saying is false religion. I'm saying right here,
This is where it happens.
right where we are, is where false religion takes place.
That's
What
right.
was it?
We're just talking.
Oh, okay. So I thought
We're just happy about
I thought y'all got
it.
something to say.
No, we're just.
So right here is where false religion takes place. It's where false stories are allowed to thrive.
Yes.
Go ask Mr. Trump. It's the same thing they did with Jesus, brother. So Jesus, they said they're asking him, who's your father? Now, who's your mother? And where are you from? They're asking where he's from. Oh, I'm from Nazareth. Oh, there's no, see, Nazareth right there. There's no prophet.
Bethlehem, right?
And they didn't keep talking.
Right.
Because all they had to do was something say, but where were you born?
Yeah.
That's all they had to ask.
They had to do. Yeah.
And then the disciples.
And people won't talk. Now
Yeah.
we get religious, but we religious people. Everybody's religious.
Everybody's
Everybody's religious.
Everybody's religious.
Some kind of way.
Okay, so what happens is, I think Mr. Trump was attacking all Haitians. This is what somebody might say. And so we need now to run a march for Haitians. We have done well. We will not accept this. Let's register to vote. Okay, that is a misplaced march. Based in something that is improper language.
Right.
That is an offense that need not happen, that can be cleared up through language. Go back. Mr. Trump, I'll ask him, he'll tell you, he's raw as he can be.
Yeah.
He will tell you.
Do you think all Haitians eat cats? Well, no, and he might not even be able to take, well, I heard it on the television, the constituent. Like, that might be all he says. But the point is, then you would have to ask his understudy, Mr. Vance. Mr. Vance, and he'll tell you, Mr. Trump is not saying all Haitians eat cats and dogs. What he's saying is there are these reports from the constituents, etc. Now, I'm going to keep talking about this, and then we're going to get some other things. Okay? If I'm a Haitian, and I'm not, a Haitian is not an African American.
That's right.
But they are black.
Yes.
Okay, you could
That's
be a
right.
Haitian American, but that's not the same thing as what's become known as African American. They're wonderful. They're black. They're Haitian. I've been to Haiti.
You've been to Haiti, brother?
I've been to Haiti.
That's where he got
on a
his first
plane
sunburn,
and went
right?
to.
Yeah, and
That's where he got his first
I ain't never been sunburned until I went to Haiti.
Funny. And then you
I actually
reversed.
was,
Wasn't no trees to get under.
yeah, I actually was under the false doctrine that black people couldn't get sunburned.
Until you
Dad
did.
still thinks that.
And I went
He
there.
just tries to say that.
Yeah, I went to Haiti and got sunburned. I said, how in the world does a black person get
That's
sunburned?
tremendous.
I wasn't Haiti black.
You sure it wasn't just ash? Or tight skin?
Hey, brother, it hurt. I'm gonna call it that. It hurt. But so, not only have I been to Haiti, I've been to a voodoo service in Haiti. A tour out in the bush where they had a little string, like they like
so
a bouncer on a club. Okay, so what I'm saying, they had a little string and they were standing there, and you had to give them some money, and they let you in. I said, where are we going? I had a tour guide. He said, we're going to the voodoo. I said, excuse me? This happened to me. I'm talking about me. Bear with me. We went there. I saw all of, it was amazing to me, I saw all of the old rock gut kind of nasty wine that I used to remember growing up, from Mad Dog 2020 to Duck, Very Cold Duck to Thunderbird, stacked up like walls. I was like, where am I? As I was coming up, I smelled this cheap alcohol. And the thought crossed my mind. I said, oh, food, fun, and spirits. I said, what are they doing? He said, they are summoning the devil. So I went up there. This happened to me. So I went up there. Y'all even interested in this story?
This is so interesting.
Okay, so I went up there. Me and your other uncle.
Oh, Uncle Marcus.
Your other uncle, you call him. Okay.
Uncle, yeah.
So we went up there. He'll tell you about it. They were laughing. They were laughing at me. I said, we're gonna stay here for 2 minutes. They said, well, you scared? I said, I am not scared of the devil. I'm just not stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went up there, and I was amazed. Like, the smell of alcohol hit me. I walked up. It was like walls of old cheap alcohol. And I looked and there's a pool there. I looked in the pool, and there's a young man in there, Haitian, who was begging the devil to possess him. He was calling on the devil to possess him. I was like,
super scary.
I was like, he was like, yeah, this is the voodoo, like the voodoo. So I said, okay, voodoo.
And isn't it a national religion?
Brother, from my experience, my tour guide was, because I'm not Haitian, but I was there, and I'm telling you about what I saw. When I was there, I looked on, and he was begging the devil to come into him, and he said, yeah, many people, voodoo. Where were you at? I was at Cap Haitian. I was in Cap Haitian. So voodoo. I said, okay. I said, we got to get up out of here. And, well, don't you believe in Jesus? Yeah, I believe in Jesus. I believe in him so much that I don't believe in the devil.
Right.
And he wants the devil. I don't want the devil. So let him have the devil. You can have the devil.
Get on out of
and what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back. And,
Your mic fell out.
oh, my mic fell.
Yeah, it's
I'm going
gone.
to step back.
It's gone.
It's all right. I don't need a mic, do it with my voice. Sister Abernathy laughing. She knows me. She's like, he doesn't need a mic. But anyway, so I left, and then after we left, there are people following us around. Okay, this is all happened. There we go. After we left, there are people following us around. There's a reason why I'm telling this very long story. I hope I'm interesting. We can edit it out. So people follow us around in Haiti, and they're like following us and running from us at the same time. And when I turn and look at them, they're like running from me. And I'm like, look, come on now. I'm looking for hidden cameras. Who's following me around? And so I asked the tour guide, I said, what is that? He said, voodoo. I said, their voodoo? He said, their religion is voodoo. Could he be lying? I don't know. I'm not Haitian. That's what he said. And I was in Haiti, and he was Haitian. He was telling me what was going on. I said, well, why are they running from me, then follow me? He said, a picture. I said, excuse me? He said, they don't want you to take a picture. They saw you with the camera. They don't want you to take a picture. I said, why? He said, because you capture their image. Now, I'm not doing his accent. He said, the image, no good. You can use the image for voodoo. I was like, and then I started remembering all the Richard Pryor skits and everything. I was like, oh, okay, hold on. I said, all the stuff that we don't do, like that I'm not used to. I said, oh, so they think I can take a picture. Yeah, you can put a curse on them with the picture. And they don't want you to take their picture. And they don't trust you, so they follow you around. Okay, I said all that, long story. I said all that to say this. Where communication stops is, I would love for a Haitian to stand up and just say, you know what, I'm from a hardworking family. I'm Haitian, I love my people. But the fact of the matter is, there's some voodoo in Haiti, and they be doing some voodoo stuff, including asking the devil to come into them and possess them, including all the things I mentioned. Now, does that reflect negatively on all Haitians? I would say no. That opens up a conversation where truth can now live.
Right.
And so when someone's
can
talking,
live in
I'm
that.
gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking. So let's leave Haitians now, because somebody thinks I abuse Haitians right now. But bear with me, I didn't.
Listening.
I didn't. Someone thinks that I have just been abusive to Haitians. But I would like a Haitian to say, nah, yeah, there's some voodoo there, and there's some stuff that can happen. I'll give you an example that's not Haitian. If someone said, hey, there's some black people over there. We're in America now. There's some black people over there, young people, little girls, look like they're 12 years old, anywhere from 12 to 14. They're naked. They're basically naked. Topless, they're basically naked over there dancing to lewd music, twerking all over the place. And I said, who was it? And they said, and if someone said, they were black. There's some African American girls. I would have false religion to react this way. Hold on, you ain't gonna talk about us. Let's start a march. Let's start a march, get in the street, because you're talking about African American people.
Yes.
I'm not getting too loud, I'm getting too loud.
No,
now.
you're not.
Okay, so now I have misplaced the true cause of fighting against oppression.
Right.
True.
When really, as a black man, however sorrowful it may be, I'll say, well, depending on where you were and what the environment was, there are environments among our people that would, in fact, produce young people basically naked and twerking on the street. And that's just true. Now, real religion, real truth can live there. We can have a conversation. The
right,
conversation now
right,
is,
right.
okay, now what are we going to do about it?
What
What
produces
is the
that and
plan?
what
What's the
made
plan
that
to
happen?
rectify
Yes.
it? What made that happen?
Yes.
Now, I could do the same thing. I'm going to give you some more examples if I can. So police, I know that there are racist police officers today. Now, are you saying in Indiana? The likelihood of there being racist police officers in Indiana, I'm in Indiana,
Yes.
is high.
It's high.
Okay? Now, are you talking about, hold on. Now, so some police officers that I talk to, they're listening now. But I'm done with real black excellence. I am done with real black excellence. They have now assaulted all police officers, and then the Republicans come on. The Republicans come on, or those that are so persuaded. Wait a minute, we got to keep law and order. We got to keep the police. You cannot bash our police. And then you have people like Candace Owens now come on, which all respect. Let's leave her name out. No, let's bring it. So Candace Owens, like all respect to her, come on, and be like, now let me give you some facts. More black people commit more, and then we have all these facts. Okay, come on. And really, what should be happening is, you know what? We should say, the police officer should say, yeah, actually, there would be some very racist police officers. But no, I got to protect the blue. No. That's where false religion comes from.
Right.
Okay, and we can go on and on. And now moving to this point, this is why we can't find resolution. This is why your comments are full.
Yes.
Trump supporter? I'm not a Trump supporter.
Right.
I'm just not a Trump supporter. What do you mean? You talking about? No, calm down. Listen to me. I'm not a Trump supporter.
Yes.
I'm not a Trump supporter. I just believe in truth. Well, how you can believe in truth? Mr. Trump lied. Calm down. I did not say Mr. Trump doesn't lie.
Right.
Yes.
I didn't say that. But nobody lies about everything.
That's right. That's right.
go. Right.
That's right.
There you go.
Nobody tells absolute lies entirely about everything that they say.
That's right.
Every time. So, what are we supposed to do? I can't reach there. Well, you're a Trump supporter. No, because when I started talking about the police, all the Democrats got happy.
Actually, and I don't
Go ahead,
mean to
please.
interrupt you, but
No, it's no
actually okay. It makes it so, like, if you're talking about the political realm, when you don't deal with it like this, what you're talking about is acknowledging what's true.
And this is the essence of false religion. I'm going to bring in a Bible verse because we're religious people.
Yes,
The
sir.
scripture says, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Yes.
So there just has to be some acknowledgement. Hey, I'm not from Haiti. I don't know if they ate dogs, but I do know what I saw. And I'm saying what I saw could and is consistent with somebody having eaten dogs or cats. It is consistent. Okay? No, you just hating on Haitians. I am not. I'm not. And really, a Haitian that wants truth should stand up, for example, and defend that, okay? Or a police officer that wants truth should say, no, there are some racist police officers for sure. For sure. 100% for sure. And but I can't put that on the whole police force.
Right.
Neither can I be a police officer and pretend like that doesn't take place. Neither can I pretend like my saying that has now been an abuse to all police officers everywhere.
And then when
Right.
they go to try to fix the problems that ail the people, whether it's Haitians, African Americans, whether it's Latinos, whatever it is, you go with this it's a polarized approach. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Right.
Like, no, we don't say that. We stand for, and then you get a bunch of people bandwagoning, and they jump over here, and we're gonna march. We're marching with
Yes.
these people, and now and you actually never even dealt with it.
And the cause of African Americans, the cause of oppression, I'm talking about Dr. King, Malcolm X, what African Americans is known for, never gets really rectified or addressed, but everybody begins to hop on it, really unrighteously.
And they feel better.
Yeah.
They feel better
Because I'm protesting now.
Yeah, I'm
And I'm
not
gonna
going
register
to let
to
you
vote
say
now.
that. I protest. We did
Yeah.
this and this, and nothing ever happens because of it. It's the same thing. Like when you get during I think it was COVID when they was burning the cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there were some Black Lives Matter riots and things like that.
Floyd happened
Yes,
during
George
one.
Floyd,
Yeah. I don't even know, Black Lives Matter, I know how it started and all of that, and I don't think it was the move of the church, the Black Lives Matter, okay? But I don't know that those people meant anything bad about it.
They didn't.
They probably said, hey,
Black
wait a
lives-
minute,
Black
y'all
lives
gonna kill
matter.
black people?
Right.
Black Lives Matter, something. They threw something out, brother, and it took off, okay? And what happens is it's like an unmanned ship, or, and these ideas go, and then all of a sudden all this funding starts coming in to this idea.
Yes.
You know
with
what I'm
no,
saying?
with no oversight.
With no oversight, an idea with no oversight, and then pretty soon, you have these strange results that come out of it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's coming and getting on board and all, instead of actually dealing with it. And you got people burning cities. They had that one city. What is that city called? Chop. And it was called Chop in Seattle. They had where there was this big move. Well, we got to get rid of all this oppression and all this stuff and this, and so we're gonna have CHOP. Well, they had this section of downtown Seattle, brother, and
is that what it was called? CHOP?
It was called CHOP
because I'm vaguely remembering.
Yeah, brother. And then they monitored. It was a disaster. It was a disaster because they were speaking against, Mr. Trump, we got to get out from under the white man and get under all this stuff. And brother, all they did was trade in one thing.
Yes.
And then came down to CHOP that was full of crime, full of nastiness. It wasn't safe for children. It wasn't safe for adults. It wasn't safe. All of a sudden, then you got these warlords ruling in CHOP. You know what I'm saying? Instead of backing up and saying, oh, ain't nothing wrong with having a ruler.
Yes.
Right.
I hate it. Here's what I hate, brother. I hate this. I'm telling you, I hate this. When you dismantle everything for the sake of a false cause. Okay.
Well, in the name, it's a false cause, but the name of a true cause is used, which is us.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But it actually is a false cause, and you can't determine that because the language always stops you. Oh, you
Right.
said that?
Right.
I cut you off. You said that? I'm out.
It's over.
You said,
So hard.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm done. I'm out.
Yes.
I used to like you.
Yeah.
Till you said that. I feel like saying, child, sit down. Like when I'm not talking about being abusive.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm saying as like a father would. Children, sit down for a minute. Let's don't think about it like that. I didn't say
Yes.
that.
Right.
Listen to my words.
Yes.
What you're doing is cutting off communication, which is the only way humanity can even get to where we're trying to get to.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this is why we perpetuate. Now I'm gonna keep talking about the system. So the system. So I'm not a Trump supporter. You are. You sound like one to me. That's only cause you ain't hearing right.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's just because you're not hearing right. You're hearing with the influences of the system, if you're a Republican, that they say doesn't exist.
Right.
And if you're a Democrat, the system that you don't even understand that you talk about often. Okay?
Right.
So what I'm saying is this. The political system is not in a position or designed to even come to a resolution. It's only designed to perpetually divide us.
That's right.
Right.
So,
right.
if somebody
Yes.
got this far, or do it short, because they're not going to listen. Do it in a short,
They're
make
not
it
gonna
20
listen.
seconds. Okay? So, if somebody got this far in the communication, the system is designed to keep us divided.
Right.
To stop communication and keep us divided. Because if we keep talking, we speak the same language. If we keep talking, our sentiments, if we argue it out back and forth, we will realize, hey, we're actually saying the same thing. We have the same desires.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so what can we do about it?
Right.
So the political system is designed to keep enemies.
Yeah.
To
Yes.
continue to perpetuate the problem.
That's right.
Are you a Trump supporter? Absolutely not. Well, you talk good about Trump. I only told the truth. I only told the truth the best way I know it. But Mr. Trump don't always tell the truth. Now that's the truth.
Right.
That's the truth.
Yes.
He wouldn't always tell the truth. I never said he was
Yeah.
Jesus.
But we ought to be able
Okay.
to distinguish. We ought to be able to distinguish if someone's telling the truth or not. Like that's a basic. That's a basic part of just communicating.
Yes.
Oh, brother, you didn't tell us everything there. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, come on,
And
come through.
telling the truth or telling a lie is not necessarily just always what you say.
Right.
It's sometimes what you don't say, or sometimes what a journalist,
For sure.
so-called, doesn't ask.
That's right.
They're actually lying because
good.
they don't ask the question.
That's right.
They're
Yes.
actually they're telling a lie by
It's
allowing
dishonest
this,
of them
Yeah,
to
by
not allow
allowing
them
this falsehood to live,
That's
and
right.
that is a lie.
Yeah,
That's
they
And
know
I
they
made
can forward
I
the
made
truth.
a
They choose
bathtub
to
full
make-
of greens, and therefore
come
I
on.
am this. Come on now, let me talk to you.
Yes.
Let me ask you some questions.
Now,
Right.
I gotta give it up for Miss Harris. Now, she said she's black before, and I think she will again. Politicians say what
sure,
they need to
yeah.
say. You know what I'm saying? But when they ask Miss Harris if she's black, these last couple times, she's like, oh, same old question. I'm not doing it. And somebody can say, that is so dignified. She
Yeah.
is so classy. I'm the kind of black person be like, say it loud. I'm serious. Somebody just asked you, black woman, are you black? Say it loud. Oh, she's mixed. We are not a monolith. She has a mix, and there are mixed people. Even you girls are mixed. You got white mamas. Oh, everybody's mixed.
Right.
Dr. Umar Johnson's mixed. Bless his heart.
Like it or not,
Dr.
like it
Umar
or
Johnson
not.
is mixed. Hating himself. Like, I hate that I'm mixed, but I am. Okay? So, now Dr. Umar, yeah, I actually want to meet Dr. Umar. I like Dr. But what I'm saying is, the radicalist of the radical, from the Pan-African to the person that thinks he's the grand verbalizer reborn. There's nobody just come up like, I am pure, like we end up being humanity. So what happens? Back to what I was saying. So what happens? The political system ensures division. I heard you, Trump supporter, I'm done. Division's maintained. Oh, you said she ain't black. You better put some respect on her name. Respect on her name. Did I disrespect her?
Right.
Like, is that what happened? Like, is this where we are right? Well, you did disrespect her because, okay, well, let's talk about it. I ain't talking. I'm not gonna talk about it. And so, if I have to be Democrat or Republican.
Yes.
If I'm Democrat or Republican, I'm going to be a Democrat or Republican. And if I run as a Democrat, I'm going to think like a Democrat, be a Democrat, have Democratic views, and whatever kind of different thing. And if I'm a Republican, I'm going to be contrary to those Democratic views. And you know, sometimes I'm in this division, and nothing happens. So you have to address it prophetically.
Yes.
That's good.
And so someone says, but you're a Trump supporter. You can't be a Trump supporter if you don't vote. And I don't vote. And the reason I don't vote is because, well, you don't vote either.
I don't vote.
The reason we don't vote is because we know this is not the means to resolve the problem. This is the means to perpetuate division.
It. Just keep.
Can you explain briefly what you mean by addressing it prophetically?
Yes.
We've had a lot of questions about that. Actually,
Yes.
they're like, "What is a prophetic narrative, and how
Yes.
would you describe that?"
It's a good question. So addressing something prophetically, I can address the problems of the world from the Republican perspective.
Right.
And I will get law and order, you know, make America great again, no reparations,
Right.
let's get rid of the woke crowd, whatever the talking.
Get rid of them.
Okay, I'm saying get rid of, Lord have mercy. Okay, somebody. Okay, but what I'm saying, whatever the talking points are, or I can address it from the Democratic perspective. Women's right to her own, you know, body, what she says to her body, whatever, LGBTQ rights. Teaching critical race theory, whatever their points are. Okay. These perspectives, because your question is what's the prophetic perspective? These perspectives only, as I just said, perpetuate division among people.
Yes.
Are you Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal? Black? Okay, good. I'm out. That's all I want to know. You lost me.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It perpetuates this system,
Yes.
and this system that does not create anything. A prophetic perspective addresses politics from, I'm not going to call it an outside source. I'm going to call it an inside source.
That's nice.
Okay? Oftentimes in the Bible, you see politics, whether they're kings, leaders, Nebuchadnezzar, Herod, whatever it may be.
Yes.
And then you see the children of God.
Right.
So they're absolutely involved in politics. They're absolutely living at the time where there are rulers and kings. They're absolutely involved in that. And many of them even served cabinet positions or appointed cabinet positions. Yet they did not address the issues from the perspective of the king. The kings asked them, in the case of Daniel, for example, the kings would ask them, hey, what's this dream about? What should we do here? Or
That's
when
really
Ezra and them
good.
were going back, they said, hey, what's the problem? Ezra said, look, I would appreciate some governmental help for my people, but this and this, you know, the temple needs to be rebuilt. And he said, hey, go handle your business.
Yes.
But it's not addressed. I wrote it in my book. It's not addressed from a political perspective because in that, or from that perspective, I only can have the perspective that I have. I can only have division. When I step outside of that and look inside to what God already knows, God opens it up. God opens it up and says, hey, look, right here, this is the way to get to unity. Keep talking.
Yes.
Keep acknowledging truth.
Doesn't God
good.
doesn't the prophetic perspective give you, like it gives us a common enemy. You see what I'm saying?
It gives us a common enemy
gives
and common humanity.
Yeah, a common humanity, a common enemy, and then it makes us so that we're not one another's devil, unless
for
we.
sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you know, to the Democrat, the Republican is their devil. To the Republican, the Democrat is their devil.
Yes.
You know what I'm
we
saying?
never actually
and
find the devil.
and actually, there has to be a narrative where you step out and say, where somebody can say, where are we? The prophetic perspective says, we are here.
Yes.
It gives us a point. We're here in time.
Yes.
And it also says, this is what's fighting us.
Yes.
Yes.
All of us.
Yes.
Right
We're
here.
all being fought by the same
We're
thing.
all being
Yes.
fought by the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And we need to join our forces
We need to-
and focus on this
On this.
one
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
So that's
and inside. No, I'm just
No,
saying,
please,
I'm sorry,
please.
but inside of that, you will have truths from either side of the aisle that are drawn from.
Yes.
The prophetic perspective allows you to sit the land and the sea and go, yeah, that's good, and that's good. We need to do this, y'all, and this. But that's democratic. No, that's prophetic.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
truth.
That's right.
Yes.
Boom. Here. Is there a system? No, there's not a system. That system does. Yes, there's a system. Boom. Now let's explain it. That doesn't mean, just because I say there's a system, it doesn't mean that now we're going to be irresponsible.
Right.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
There is a system, yes, and you need to go to work at the same time.
Allows you to
and
throw away the bad as well.
it'll
right?
throw away the bad. You pitch the bad and you do all that. So with the prophecy gives us, actually you can't move in time without prophecy. You are actually behind schedule always.
and what people are asking
Traffic jam.
what people are asking for, they're saying,
California.
what are your policies to resolve these circumstances? And we're not even agreeing on, okay, what's the bad circumstance? Where are we? What time is it? The country's bad like never
Yeah.
before. Okay, how bad? Like
What's bad?
what are we talking
what does that
about?
mean?
So prophecy actually, the prophetic perspective locates us biblically. We are right here.
Yes.
Here is our enemy, and this is how you resolve it. And it makes a way for humanity to come together, whereas the Democratic Party does not.
He actually told
Republican Party does
actually
not.
Daniel actually told Nebuchadnezzar, "You're the head of gold."
Yes.
In that dream you saw, you're the head of gold, and the next thing coming is going to be this. So there was a way, and there was a way then to deal with the issues of that were even confronting Babylon in that in that time. And no doubt they had Democrats and Republicans there. They at least had satraps and sheriffs and all those other, because those are the ones that came against Daniel.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's you can't even get on the same page without prophecy.
Yes. And
Right.
so what we need, and people even say this, if people get confused, say, well, we need Jesus. Well, even that's vagary. Like
That is vagary. That's not vague. That's
no,
vagary.
that is vagary.
Is that the Democratic Jesus or the Republican?
What's Jesus? Because the Democrats have
Is
one.
it the black
Pentecostal
Jesus?
one or the
Yes,
Episcopalian
like
one?
which Jesus are we talking about?
The God of
and
the
so
unknown.
and so the what'd you say?
The unknown God.
Yeah, the unknown God. So the prophetic perspective actually isolates where we are, because prophecy is history that's been foretold. And history is prophecy that's been fulfilled. And so prophecy, the prophetic perspective, helps us to know exactly where we are so that we as humans can actually come together, whereas the other segmented or fragmented segments do not allow humanity to come together. They force you into this idea of you are that, I am this. We're separate people. It doesn't allow you to be human, and it perpetuates the system of division that we need to address. Now we haven't even hardly gotten. We're gonna have to stop, but we haven't gotten. We haven't gotten with because I want to talk sometime. I want to talk sometime about the effects of white supremacy on the church.
Because right there, we could transition into it, because you've been talking about division and divisive narratives, and you said before, right there is where false religion lives. From there, we can talk about how white supremacy has affected the church.
Yeah, that's right. False religion lives at a lack of acknowledgement, a refusal to listen, a refusal to communicate, and then jumping to conclusions. And the conclusions that they jump on in this particular case belong to the African American people or the struggle that's been known as the African American struggle. So we'll talk about this sometime. I might be tired.
You might be tired.
I might be tired right
be
now.
tired
You
out.
tired? You tired? You looking a little
But
tired.
Steph, the 90-year-olds have already gone to bed.
Yeah, so that's it's too bad. Too bad
That's
because
too bad.
yeah,
That's
because
too bad. We
I
should have
missed my time.
should have
But
been
you know, I think there'd be some people. I think there'd be some people like, just tell your story. Be like, well, that's what we've been doing. You know,
Yes.
I can't tell you, you know.
Jump up and
I can't tell you my story, you know. How you doing? I'm church and I'm a preacher. The end. You know, I can't tell you that. So this is what we've been doing, and this is what we've dealt with. But religion has been the primary means of division.
Yes.
What's been known as Christianity has actually been the primary reason for division in of course, the United States and throughout the world. What's become known as Christianity. And so, Lord willing, we'll talk about that some. And I think we have to talk about us.
We
Yes.
do. We
Like-
so, 'cause someone actually mentioned that the other day. They were like, "Well, you're talking about all this stuff," but they're like, "Really, you haven't really. You act." They said you act like your religion is without fault, and you won't talk about that. And we're like, that's probably kind of true. We haven't really gotten into that
Sure.
at all. And
Well-
so we were like, we didn't say anything. We were like, that's probably true.
my two
We
talk
were like,
about
that's
that.
probably true. Whatever. They were like, whatever.
We're not answering that comment. Whatever.
We were like, that's true.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's not as simple as thinking our religion is without fault, because we
Right.
do believe the religion of Jesus
Jesus Christ
Christ is
is
without fault.
without
fault.
We
Right.
actually do believe that.
Yes.
And all Christians do.
Yes, every Christian would believe that.
Yes.
Like the
Otherwise, why
religion of
would you be a
Jesus
Christian?
Christ is without fault. What we would say is, we have been affected by a system that we just talked about, the system that perpetuates division. We've been affected by that so much that we have had to have a renewing of our mind, like the Bible talks about minds being renewed. We've had to have a renewing of our mind because the paths of our mind, the paths of our thoughts have been incorrect. And there's no way to resolve that without a willingness to acknowledge, okay, let's sit down. What are you saying?
And it takes time to reform those paths.
Oh, it takes time. And there has to be a willingness on somebody's part. Like somebody has to be, you know, I am red, I'll die red, and you know, whatever. Like, all right, amen.
Okay.
So
Okay,
so I'm not talking.
Right. Stay over there
Yeah,
then.
so I'm not just talking to you.
Yes.
But if somebody says, you know what? If somebody has this thought, you know what? I am human. And if there is a reasonable conversation, even if we disagree, I'd be willing to have that conversation because I want the good of the community.
Yes.
I believe I have truth. I want the good of humanity. I don't want anybody to be hurt. If somebody was willing to go that far and then continue to listen to your podcast, I actually think they would agree. One time I told
Yes.
my cousin was talking. She's like, I just don't agree with y'all. I said, you can't say that. I don't agree. How are you going to tell me what I can say? I said, you don't know why we said it. You don't know where we're coming from. You're triggered by something that you believe is happening. So you actually can't say you really disagree. Let's sit down. Let's have the conversation, and let's determine what we agree on, what we disagree on, and then from there we can move. And but I think some of the influences which I was shocked by, to be honest, I was shocked at the amount and effect of white supremacy that was affecting the people that I worship with. I was shocked. Now I did know white supremacy affected black people. Like we grew up knowing that white supremacy affected us. We were slaves and post-traumatic slave disorder and all those kinds of things. We knew that. But I was shocked. I was shocked that Christians, people that I knew were Christians, I was shocked that Christians.
We were shocked. I guess what we were shocked by was people's response to your message. When you first started preaching about what white supremacy was and saying that we were affected by racism, we were like, oh, amen. But then the way people were like
The violent reactions.
so resistant to it, that surprised us.
Well, it's surprising. I think I understand what you're saying. It's surprising not that people would be affected by it.
No.
But that people
No.
that you know to be Christians would be
Like
like,
we grew up with
like
you.
the
We were
people that
friends.
you would know they're Christians, they look and say, you're a racist. I'd be like, oh, when did I turn racist? Like, you know, so I think that was more the shock to me. It wasn't a shock that people would have a resistance to it. They always have. Again, the issue's never been reconciled. But the shock to me was the resistance to that by people who I knew to be Christians.
Yeah.
The resistance to the idea that they were affected by white supremacy.
Yeah, so white people are not interested in that. So now I hear somebody, I'm speaking generally. So now I hear somebody say, you know, because you got to get everything. I hear somebody say, okay, hold on, there's a system that white people are affected by. So now people that are of the Republican persuasion, now I start to lose them.
Right.
Like we're unsubscribing right now.
So I thought you were right on red and you were talking about
And
Trump.
you-
So now I start to lose them. What are you? You just go back and forth. No.
No.
Truth belongs to God, not the Republican Party.
Yes.
Truth belongs to God, not the Democratic Party. Truth belongs to God, not black people.
Yes.
Right.
Truth belongs to God, not white people. And so the elements of white supremacy that are in religion and the effect that it has on Christian people is largely that was largely the shock to me, like more shock to me, and not even Christian people generally. Like I said, the people that I had fellowship with, I was shocked. I was shocked initially, and the shock didn't last too much. And I got to tell you, I mean, this is me, everybody. It didn't last too long. I was shocked because I was like, oh no, these are Christian brothers. Then after a while, I was like, same old white folk stuff. Like I'm being honest. I'd be like, oh, it's the same old white folk stuff. They just need some help, like everybody else. And it seemed strange to say that. The white people need help. Will people from your church see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, they will.
Yes, they will.
Will they agree? Does someone want to know? Will they agree? I think mostly they will now. I think some.
Mostly.
What is
Keyword.
it?
Keyword
some.
mostly.
Yeah, I think
And now.
mostly for now. And I
And
think,
now it's a different keyword.
I think some will say that I didn't do this in the right way. There's always a right way to do something, and that's always the white way. The
right way is
do
the
it.
white way.
Yeah, there's a right way to do that. There's a right time to do it. There's a right time to say it. But what caused me to write my book is that I was realizing, one of the main things, I was realizing that the same thing that had affected the African American community, the same system that had brutalized us, the same circumstances that affected us were absolutely affecting the white people. And in some ways, the white people were at a disadvantage
'Cause they didn't know it.
greater than us in some ways, because we knew generally this has affected us. White folks generally, some know, everybody's different. But generally speaking, the white folks, especially Christian, no, the blood of Jesus, I have never experienced racism in my life.
Right.
And, that type of thing.
We have people that get on the podcast about that and get in the comments often saying, well, girls, I mean, why are you talking about race? Let's just talk about Jesus. And it's like, but Jesus has everything to do with this.
Jesus has everything to do with it because there are tribes and tongues and people and
Yes.
nations in the Bible. And there's one human race, and everybody knows that. They use that as like a phrase. There's one human race.
Yes, there is.
But they don't know how there is. In other words, how does this one human race interact? How do you display pride but not marginalize people?
Right.
How do you love who you are and not be brutal to someone else? How do you uplift your people or your tribe while not being condescending to another tribe? That can only be done through the prophetic perspective,
Yes.
which ultimately is an experience. It's not just talking to people. You have to be willing to talk and acknowledge, but ultimately it's an experience that changes the heart of a person, that puts them in a position where they can
be
now
willing to-
now I can realize. So I'm saved. They wash all racism away from me. Yeah, okay, you're not a racist. You're not a racist. But it didn't wash away all racist behavior from you.
Right.
Yes.
It didn't wash away all habitual racist thought patterns.
Yes.
And that's being a Christian or being saved just puts you in a position now to be able to deal
Now
with
you
that.
can deal with it.
So when somebody says, "Why are you talking about that? Why are you talking about that? Are we just one people? Like, shouldn't we be talking about Jesus?" Oh, Jesus talks about this.
Yes. Yes.
Actually,
Jesus talks
multiple
about
times,
people.
yep.
Yeah.
in a lot of Christian circles, there's really, they're putting up, if I understand it correctly, there's a real fight to, people are fighting for, let's say, reformist theology. They're trying to, we're standing against critical race theory, against all these things. We don't have to, and really they're being bombarded by something. They just need help. They need help to know what's even going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They think we're not going to accept what's
They're
coming
they're
from the
fighting the
world
wrong
and all
fight.
this stuff. And they actually need to know what they're dealing with.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're being, and a lot of times people get overtaken by things because they won't go through this process of acknowledging. Or you're not acknowledging, and therefore that critical race theory gonna get you. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? If you would just acknowledge, then we can deal with what's what.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can separate it. I think that happens a lot, maybe in like G3 circles and places like, where there's real reformed, quote unquote, preaching. What's his name? What is his name? R.C. Sproul's and people like that who,
You got to go meet these people, brother. You can deal with it.
yeah, I don't know if I can deal with them, but I'm saying, but I'm saying people
I
that
can't
think,
listen to it too long.
people that think they take Christianity and they put it in a, it's just like being Democratic Republican. You're either a Calvinist or you're a Arminian,
Yeah,
or you're a Democrat,
absolutely.
you're a Republican, and all those things, and
Same
all
thing.
that has to be sorted out. But it's actually the same action, the same process that sorts one sorts the other.
Right.
Yes, it really is. And people talk about, well, just talk about Jesus. The whole point of Jesus is to make one new man.
One new man. Yeah.
To make humanity, to make humanity function together as a
Yes.
unit of whatever diversity you have, whatever ethnicity you have. And so that is the entirety. That's the whole reason why Jesus came. And I think what happens is you have little sections, little religious, Democratic or Republican or Independent or Green Party sections that have their own particular beliefs and their own particular ways. And really, to deal with that, to bring that out where Jesus is talking about, for example, the middle wall partition, how it's been broken down. Somebody says, well, that's talking about Jews and Gentiles. Absolutely. But Jesus breaks down all walls of partition between
Yes.
humanity. And so we can live together as one. So I think the next time we come back, we're going to start talking.
Straight from there.
I thought we would.
Thought we would get to it tonight.
I thought we would, but we had to get to how to think.
You have to lay a foundation.
So if somebody, and plus we freestyling, why didn't y'all get to it? Just listen to what we got to. Like,
Tonight.
you have to lay a foundation. You have to think about it like this. So next time we come in, it's y'all's show. It's y'all's responsibility to say, we talking about your journey in the church.
We got you.
That's y'all's
got you.
responsibility. Your listeners will put it on you if I
y'all's
start
fault.
talking about something else.
Yes.
All
Yes.
we got you. We'll do
Super
it.
good.
We'll make sure.
I really appreciate how you spoke on the prophetic narrative, and I think people often have the question, well, how do you know where the prophet is? But I think how you explained it makes it so easy to find him, because who's talking about it, and who's trying to reconcile, and who's holding it in their heart and in their hands.
And who's presenting language that's viable, that we can
Yes,
use
you have to.
communicate with one another.
And what happens too, and I know y'all closing, but you did this. But what, you did. But
Yes,
listen,
I'm close. I'm going to my seat.
I'm going to my seat. Somebody be like, yeah, they preachers. I'm closing
Definitely
here.
so.
This is my third close. Okay, but one of the things that prophets do is tell where we are in time, and the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party is behind time.
Yes.
Yes.
We have to go back to the place where Dr. King, where our last leaders were, where Dr. King and Malcolm X were when they were assassinated, and what they were doing. And what they were doing was saying, Dr. King, hey, hold on, I've integrated into a burning house.
Yes.
I've integrated my people into a burning house. He's calling the Republican, the Democratic, the system that everybody's squabbling over. He's saying, hold on, this is a house that's burning. America's burning.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Trump is saying the same thing, but without understanding. Hey, you're not going to have a country for different reasons. Please. Mr. Trump is not to be compared to those prophets.
No, sir.
I'm just saying there's a recognition that, hey, we're in trouble. Okay. But that recognition was happening back then. So where were those brethren? Where was Dr. King? What were they doing? Well, Malcolm X and Dr. King were actually going to form one of the most powerful coalitions that the world has ever seen. Can you imagine? Dr. King and Malcolm X together in unity, working.
They had to kill him.
Working as one, and the system
system had
that
to kill
makes people say that you're a Trump supporter or you hate Kamala Harris or Kamala Harris, the system that makes people fight, that's the same system that killed them before they can come together. So prophetic perspective puts us back there.
Which is the same one that killed the Lord Jesus Christ.
Same one that killed the Lord Jesus Christ and all the prophets.
And all the
The
prophets.
prophetic
Romans,
perspective puts us right there and says, okay, where were they? What were they talking about? And they were not talking about, let's do a Blexit.
No.
And they were not talking about black people, let's join the Republican Party. And they were not talking about, let's be Democrats. They were talking about coming together in solidarity as a community to resolve the problem. Dr. King was even saying it's going to cost America billions. You know he got to die. With all his influence, he said, oh yeah, it's going to cost you billions. No, you got to go. And so these are the things that the prophetic perspective helps to bring. Helps us to be located in time so that we don't get lost and just out here thrashing around with various causes. And now I'm going to let you close.
That's really good. So good. So good. I'm so excited about this episode. So excited about what we discussed. And
I hope y'all still got friends after this.
you know, if people don't like this, but it's like you said, if they take the time to listen to all of it, they'll find the humanity in it. They can't get away. And I don't think you can run away. You have to be not human, in my opinion, my personal opinion. You have to be not human to listen with open ears and heart to this all the way through, and then say, "No, there's nothing I can agree with there."
I actually have a desire, and I think we all do, that humanity would just come together. And we believe, and we'll never stop believing, that happens through Jesus Christ.
Yes.
But it doesn't even matter. If we just come together on what we call truth,
Yes.
And have a good conversation, right?
we'll have our conversation, and everything will be all right. It doesn't matter even what somebody believes. As long as they're willing to acknowledge the truth, we will arrive at the right place. We will.
Yes. Yeah, we will. Well, we're so thankful for this episode. Congratulations to all of you who stayed once again. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Many more to come. Pray with us that Brother Steph and Brother Randall are back soon. We love having them. We love having these deep discussions. I mean, it makes our minds grow.
Yes.
It expands us. It blesses us. We hope you all were blessed as well. We'll see you next time. Y'all know what time it is. Peace, love, and hair grease.